At our wedding, my wife lifted her glass and said, "This dance is for the man I've secretly loved for 10 years." She walked right past me and stopped in front of my brother. The room applauded until I asked my father one question. After that, my wife went pale, and my brother collapsed. The champagne glass felt cold in my hand when Sarah stood up. My wife of exactly 47 minutes raised her glass, smiled at the 200 guests filling the Riverside ballroom, and said the words meant to break me. "This dance is for the man I've secretly loved for 10 years. Then she walked past me. Her white dress, the one we spent 3 months picking out, the one that cost $4,200, brushed against my shoulder as she moved. She stopped in front of my brother Derek. He stood slowly, that familiar, confident smile spreading across his face. The same smile I'd seen my whole life. Whenever he won, whenever he took something, whenever he claimed something that should have been mine. Sarah held out her hand and Derek took it. The room stayed silent for about 2 seconds. Then someone started clapping, probably Aunt Margaret, who claps at every wedding. Others joined in, unsure at first, and then louder. A few people laughed. The awkward kind of laugh people use when they don't understand what's happening but want to act like they do. "How sweet," someone whispered. "What a lovely moment," another said. They assumed it was planned, a small family gesture, a bride dancing with her new brother-in-law. They had no clue. Sarah and Derek walked to the dance floor. The DJ, Marcus, who we paid $1,800, started playing Unchained Melody, slow and romantic, the type of song meant for a couple. My best man Josh leaned in and whispered, "Dude, what is going on?" I didn't answer because 3 weeks earlier I'd found the messages. I wasn't supposed to see them. Sarah had left her phone on the kitchen counter while showering. A text came in. I glanced at it out of habit. After 4 years together and 1 year engaged, we never hid our phones. The message was from D. It read, "Can't wait for tonight. Meet me at the usual place at 8. Something felt off." The usual place. Sarah didn't have any usual places with anyone named D, as far as I knew. I picked up the phone. Her passcode was my birthday, 0614. She'd never hidden anything from me. Or so I believed. I opened the messages. There were hundreds, possibly years of them. "I wish it was you I was marrying. 10 years we've kept this secret. After the wedding, we'll sort everything out. Just play along for now. Once you're legally married to him, we can make our move." My hands went numb. I kept scrolling. The messages went back 4, 5, maybe 6 years. Photos, hotel confirmations, private jokes, plans. Everything between Sarah and someone saved as D. I tapped the contact. Derek Henderson. My brother. I'd known Derek my whole life. 3 years older, popular, quarterback, prom king, the guy everyone liked. I was the quiet younger brother who studied while Derek partied. I got decent grades. Derek got scholarships and praise. Our parents cared about us both, but Derek was always treated as exceptional. The first time I brought Sarah home 6 years ago was for Thanksgiving. We'd been dating 2 months. I was nervous, hoping she'd like my family, and that they'd like her. Derek shook her hand and joked, "Welcome to the circus." She laughed. They talked for hours about music, movies, college. Derek had just graduated from state. Sarah was finishing her marketing degree. I remember feeling relieved that they got along. I had no idea they'd met before. No idea they'd been together for 4 years before I even knew she existed. The messages explained everything. Sarah met Derek 7 years ago at a party. They hooked up, then started seeing each other casually, mostly physical. Hotel rooms, his apartment when his roommate was gone, her place when they could hide. But Derek didn't want a relationship, just fun with no commitment. So Sarah waited. Then one Thanksgiving, Derek came home with Sarah as my girlfriend. According to their messages, it was Derek's idea. "This is perfect. Date him. Get serious. He's the type who will marry you. Once you're stable, we'll figure out our thing in secret." She agreed. She met me on purpose at a coffee shop Derek knew I visited. She accidentally spilled her drink near me. I helped her clean up. We talked. 3 dates later, I was in love. Apparently she was too, but not with me. For 3 weeks, I read those messages every night after Sarah fell asleep. On the night I proposed, she texted Derek. He asked. I said yes. One step closer. When we booked the venue, he's so excited. It's almost sad. 2 weeks before the wedding. After this, we're free. I'll figure out the divorce later. He won't see it coming. 5 days before the wedding, I want to do something at the ceremony that shows who I truly belong to. Maybe a dance with you. Let everyone see. Derek replied, You sure? That's bold. She answered, I'm tired of hiding. I didn't confront her. I didn't yell, cry, or call off the wedding. Instead, I prepared. First, I hired a private investigator, Rebecca Torres. 12 years of licensed experience. I found her through a law firm I use for work contracts. I need documentation, I told her. Of what? She asked. Long-term infidelity. My fiancé and my brother. She didn't flinch. How much time do I have? 2 weeks. She needed phone access, emails, accounts. I gave her what I could and told her to dig deeper. She did. Rebecca uncovered hotel bookings going back 6 years of credit card statements showing Derek paying for rooms, dinners, trips. A hotel clerk recognized them. She found more texts, emails, and photos on Derek's cloud storage, pictures of them in bed, on trips, kissing, dated from before Sarah and I met up until last month. She compiled everything into a 300-page file. This is airtight, she said when she handed it over. You could sue. You could press charges. I don't want charges, I said. Not yet. I want truth. Truth? She repeated. I want everyone to know exactly what they've been doing. Her silence lasted a moment. You're still having the wedding? I'm letting them think they've won. Then I contacted a family lawyer, James Chen, 23 years in Illinois. I need to know how to avoid a marriage, I said. Before or after the ceremony? After. Immediately after. He explained, In Illinois, the ceremony isn't what makes the marriage legal. Filing the license does. If you don't file it, the marriage doesn't exist. Perfect. My next call was to Derek's wife, Melissa Chen. They'd married 2 years ago in Las Vegas. Derek told everyone he was at a conference. I found the certificate through public records, found Melissa on Facebook. She worked as a dental hygienist in Henderson, Nevada. She had no idea Derek had an entire life in Chicago. I called her. Is this Melissa? Yes. Who's calling? I'm Tom Henderson, Derek's brother. Derek has a brother? He never mentioned me? No, he told me his family died in a car accident when he was in college. I told her everything about Sarah, the affair, the wedding. She cried, then grew angry, then quiet. You're inviting me to the wedding? Yes. Why? Because they think they're going to make a statement. I want you there when it happens. You're exposing them? Yes. Good. Send me the details. My fourth call was to my father. Dad, remember the business loan you gave Derek 3 years ago? The $50,000? Yes. What about it? Did he ever repay it? No, he said the business failed. Did you see any paperwork? License? Registration? No. He said he handled it. Why? I think Derek lied. Dad fell silent. That's serious. I know. I'll show you at the wedding. I hired a forensic accountant for $800 to trace Derek's finances. Turns out my dad's $50,000 went directly into Derek's personal account and was spent on $18,000 in hotel rooms, $12,000 on flights and rentals, $8,000 on jewelry, $7,000 on restaurants, $5,000 miscellaneous retail thali, all used within 18 months. None spent on a business. The investigator provided a detailed packet with a line-by-line breakdown, bank statements, and credit card records. Every receipt made something clear. The jewelry bought 3 months before Sarah and I got engaged, a bracelet and matching earrings. I'd never seen her wear them. The hotel bookings were all at the same 3 places, always downtown Chicago, always on weekends, always charged to Derek's card. The flights, 2 trips to Miami, 1 to Cancun, 1 to San Diego. Sarah had told me she was traveling for work conferences for each of those. Now I had the proof, all documented, notarized, and undeniable. The wedding day came. Sarah looked beautiful. She always did. Her dress fit perfectly. Her hair was pinned up, her makeup done carefully. She looked like a bride completely in love. When she walked down the aisle, I almost believed it. Almost. The ceremony was short. Basic vows. I'd written my own. I talked about trust, honesty, and forever. Sarah cried when I said them. Real tears. I couldn't tell if it was guilt or if she was just very good at showing emotion. We signed the marriage license with the officiant. Sarah's hand shook slightly. Nervous? I asked. Happy, she said. So happy. I folded the license and put it into my jacket. I planned to give it to my lawyer the next day. It would never be filed, never valid. Sarah would never legally be my wife. The reception began at 6 p.m. 200 guests, open bar, string quartet, months of planning. Sarah moved through the crowd easily, smiling, hugging people, posing for photos. Derek sat at the family table with a whiskey, watching her. My mother sat beside him, talking about something. Derek wasn't listening. His eyes followed Sarah wherever she went. At 7:30, dinner was served. At 8:15, the toast started. Josh went first. He gave a funny speech about how we met in college, how I helped him through calculus, how Sarah was out of my league, but still said yes. Everyone laughed. Then Sarah stood for her speech. She picked up her champagne glass and looked around. I want to thank everyone for being here, she said. Her voice was steady. This day means everything to me. She looked at me, smiling. Tom, you've been supportive, patient, and kind. I smiled back and lifted my glass. But there's something I need to say, she continued, something I've hidden for too long. The room grew quiet. This dance, she motioned to the empty floor, is for the man I've secretly loved for 10 years. Then she walked past me and stopped in front of Derek. I let her take his hand. Let them walk together to the dance floor. Let the music begin. Let them move slowly while the guests watched, puzzled at first, then touched. How sweet, Aunt Margaret said. My mother looked at me. Tom, are you okay with this? I'm fine, I said. Just wait a moment. Josh leaned in. Man, what is happening? Trust me. The song reached the first chorus. Derek's hand rested on Sarah's waist. She smiled up at him. I picked up the microphone. Beautiful dance, I said. My voice carried clearly. Truly meaningful. Sarah's smile wavered. Derek looked over, still confident. Since we're sharing secrets, I have one too, I said. The room went silent. Dad, I called toward my father. Do you remember the business loan Derek asked for 3 years ago? The $50,000, he asked. Of course. Why? Did he ever repay you? No. He said the business failed. Interesting, I said, because I have bank documents showing that business never existed. The music stopped. The ballroom fell silent. Derek's face went pale. What are you doing? He said, voice unsteady. Sharing, I replied, the same way you and Sarah have been sharing for 10 years. Gasps moved across the room. Sarah covered her mouth. The $50,000 Dad gave you, I continued. You spent it on hotels, trips, and jewelry for Sarah, while she was dating me, then engaged to me, and planning this wedding. I connected my phone to the projector we had used earlier for the slideshow. I have every receipt, every text, every lie. The screen lit up behind me. Text messages. Hundreds. I can't wait to be with you for real. He won't suspect anything. After the wedding, we'll figure it out. Or maybe we'll just keep going. My mother stood, hand on her chest. Derek, is this true? Derek couldn't talk. Sarah stared at the screen, rigid. But that's not the most important part, I said. Sarah, would you like to explain, or should I? Please, she whispered. Stop. Please stop. We're almost done. I clicked to the next slide. A marriage certificate appeared. Derek Henderson and Melissa Chen. Las Vegas, 2 years ago. Derek got married, I said evenly. 2 years ago. To Melissa. They're still legally married, which means, Sarah, he was never planning to leave her. Sarah turned sharply to Derek. You're married? Derek stumbled over his words. I was going to tell you. When? She said loudly. When? So let me summarize, I said, raising my voice slightly. Sarah has been with Derek for 10 years. Derek lied to his wife Melissa for 2 years. Derek used Dad's $50,000. And Sarah thought today was an appropriate moment to reveal their relationship in front of everyone. The crowd erupted. My mother yelled at Derek. My father stood up, face red. Sarah cried uncontrollably, and then someone pushed through the back of the room. Melissa. I had reserved her a seat with a clear view. She approached Derek steadily. Sarah whispered, Who is that? That, I said, is Derek's wife. Melissa stopped in front of Derek. He looked up, afraid. She slapped him. The sound echoed. We're done, she said. My lawyer will contact you. She turned to me. Thank you for inviting me. Then she left. The room was chaotic. Derek dropped into a chair, covering his face. Sarah grabbed my arm. You knew. You knew for 3 weeks. Yes, I said. I did. Why didn't you tell me? I wanted people to see the truth, both of yours. My mother rushed over. I'm so sorry. I didn't know. I know, I said. My father stood over Derek. You have until Monday to repay me, or I'm filing charges. Dad, I don't. I don't care. Sell your car. Take a loan. Figure it out. I turned to Sarah. The marriage license. I never filed it. Her face went pale. What? This wedding isn't legal. You're not my wife, Saf. You're someone who embarrassed herself in front of everyone for a man who wasn't honest with you either. You can't. I already have. Josh came beside me. Man, that was intense. Thanks, I said. What now? Now I leave. I walked out at 9:47 p.m. My car waited outside, a hired driver I arranged earlier. I didn't want to drive afterward. Josh followed. Where are you going? Airport, I said. I booked a flight to Iceland. Midnight departure. Iceland? It was meant to be our honeymoon. I changed it to a single ticket, refunded hers. You're going alone? Yes, that's cold. Maybe. But I'm not staying here. He hugged me. You did what you had to do. Maybe. You did. I got in the car. As we drove off, I looked back at the ballroom. People were leaving, talking, recording, posting. By morning, it would be everywhere. The wedding where the bride declared her love for the groom's brother, and the groom revealed everything. I spent 10 days in Iceland, hiking, taking photos, thinking. My phone filled with messages. I ignored most. Sarah called 47 times. I blocked her after the first day. Derek called 6 times. I blocked him too. My mother called once. Tom, are you okay? I'm fine. I'm so sorry. We didn't know. I know. Derek's moving out. Your father won't speak to him. Good. Sarah keeps calling us crying, saying she regrets everything. She made choices for 10 years. Do you think you'll ever forgive them? No. I said. I don't. I came back 2 weeks later, changed my locks, moved Sarah's things to storage, sent her the invoice, and filed for annulment, though we were never legally married. My lawyer said it was just to finalize everything. The story spread online. Someone at the wedding had recorded the whole thing. It went viral. Within 2 days, 17 million views. Groom exposes bride at wedding. The comments were harsh. She got what she deserved. The brother is awful. This man is a legend. Derek lost his job after his boss saw the video, said it didn't align with company values. Melissa divorced him, took half of everything. My father sued him for fraud. Won the case, $50,000 plus interest and legal fees. Derek sold his car, sold his condo, moved to a small studio. Sarah lost friends. Her social media filled with negative comments. She deleted everything. Last I heard, she moved to Seattle to start over. I stayed in Chicago, kept my job, kept my apartment, kept living my life just without the people who tried to undermine it. 6 months later, my mother called. Derek wants to talk to you. No. Tom, he's your brother. He was. Not anymore. He says he's sorry. It was a mistake. It wasn't a mistake. It was a 10-year decision. She was silent for a while. I understand, she finally said. I wanted you to know. Thank you, but no. That night, Josh took me out. You okay? He asked. Yes. Really? Yes. You seem different. How? Stronger? Colder? Maybe, I said, but it's honest. He lifted his glass. To honesty. To honesty. A year later, I got an invitation, Derek and a woman I didn't know. Another wedding. I threw it away. My mother called. Did you get the invitation? Yes. Are you going? No. Tom, Mom, I love you, but I'll never forgive him. I'll never be his brother again. And I won't attend a ceremony where he tries to act like a good person. She sighed. Okay, your father and I will represent the family. Good. When I hung up, I sat for a while. Thought about Sarah, Derek, that dance, the moment everything came out. People sometimes asked if I regretted it, if I wished I'd handled it differently. The answer was always no, because they planned everything. They were confident they'd succeed. Sarah walked past me to take my brother's hand at my own wedding. She wanted to embarrass me. Instead, I asked my father one question, and everything fell apart. She grew pale, he collapsed into the truth, and I left. 2 years later, I met someone new. Her name was Rachel, a graphic designer, funny, kind, honest. After 3 months, she asked, Do you have siblings? I had a brother, I said. Not anymore. What happened? I told her the whole story. That's harsh, she said. Yes. Do you regret it? No, not at all. She kissed me. They earned it. 5 years later, Rachel and I married. Small wedding, 50 guests, close friends and family. My parents came. Derek wasn't invited. It was peaceful, simple, real. At the reception, Rachel made a toast. Thank you for being here, she said, especially Tom's parents, who welcomed me warmly. She looked at me. Tom, you're the most honest person I know. You don't hide things. You don't pretend. You don't mislead anyone. She lifted her glass. To honesty and to love, that's real. Everyone raised their glasses. I looked around. No secrets, no lies, just people who meant what they said. To honesty, I said. We drank. And for the first time in years, I felt peace. Not the hollow kind you pretend you feel when things settle temporarily. The real kind, quiet, steady, earned. For years, whenever someone mentioned weddings, or families, or trust, something inside me tightened. Even with Rachel, even after everything we built together, a small part of me was always waiting for the next betrayal, the next knife, the next person I loved choosing someone else behind my back. But standing there, glass in my hand, surrounded by people who actually meant their words, that old tension was gone. After the reception, when most of the guests had left and only our closest friends lingered, Rachel walked up to me, took my hand, and whispered, "You look lighter." "Do I?" "Yeah." She smiled, like you finally let go. I didn't answer. I think she was right. My parents hugged her goodbye, told her they were proud to call her their daughter-in-law. My mom held my face in her hands for a moment. "You deserve this," she said quietly. "All of this." For once, I believed her. A week later, life returned to normal. I went back to work, Rachel went back to her studio, and the world felt steady, predictable, safe. Then, on a Tuesday afternoon, I got a text from an unknown number. "Tom, it's Derek." I stared at the screen for a long time. 5 years, and he still hadn't let go. 5 years, and the only thing he had ever sent were messages I never answered. I should have deleted it, blocked him again, ignored him like always. But something made me open it. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I know I don't deserve it. I just want 5 minutes, one conversation. I need you to hear something. I put the phone face down and let out a slow breath. Rachel noticed immediately. "What's wrong?" I hesitated. Derek texted. Her expression softened. Not pity, not discomfort, just calm understanding. "What does he want?" "A conversation." She nodded. "Do you want to hear him out?" I opened my mouth, closed it. "I don't know." "Then don't answer now," she said. "Answer when you're sure. Or never. You don't owe him anything." She kissed my cheek and went back to her laptop. I sat there for a long time staring at the message. 5 minutes. 5 years. 500 memories I wish I never had. Finally, I picked up the phone, opened a new message, and typed, "Meet me tomorrow, 6 p.m. Lakeview Pier. 5 minutes, no more." And as soon as I hit send, I felt something I hadn't felt in years. Not anger, not fear, not grief. Closure, approaching like a storm on the horizon. Tomorrow, I would face the man who used to be my brother. Not for him, for me. The next day, the sky looked like steel, flat, cold, and heavy with rain. Fitting. I got to Lakeview Pier 5 minutes early. The wind coming off the water was sharp enough to sting. Families were walking dogs, teenagers were taking photos, but it all felt distant, like I was watching them through glass. At 6 p.m. exactly, Derek appeared at the far end of the pier. He looked older. Not by age, by consequence. His shoulders slumped, his hair thinner, his eyes tired in a way that had nothing to do with sleep. He walked slowly, almost cautiously, like he wasn't sure I'd stay. When he reached me, he didn't speak at first. Just stood there, breathing hard, the way someone does before they jump into freezing water. "Your 5 minutes started 20 seconds ago," I said. He winced, nodded. "Okay." Silence stretched between us. Then Derek finally spoke. "I ruined everything," he said softly. "I know that." I didn't respond. "I've replayed that night 1,000 times, the dance, the look on your face, the moment you exposed everything." He swallowed. "You didn't just destroy the wedding, you destroyed my entire life." I raised an eyebrow. "I didn't destroy your life." "You did." He nodded, fast, almost desperate. "I know. I know. I'm not blaming you. God, Tom, I was so stupid. I thought I was in love with Sarah. I thought she loved me. And now I look back and I don't even recognize the person I was." "You recognize him fine," I said quietly. "You just don't like who he is." That hit him hard. He shoved his hands into his pockets, staring at the water. "Melissa's married now," he said. "She has a kid. Her husband treats the boy like his own. I saw photos online. She looks happy." He laughed, a bitter sound. "Happier than she ever was with me." "She deserved better," I said. "I know." His voice cracked. "You did too." A long silence followed. Waves hit the pier, steady, cold, indifferent. Finally, Derek looked up, eyes shining with something between guilt and exhaustion. "I'm not here to ask you to be my brother again," he said. "I know that's gone. I know I burned that bridge and every bridge after it. I needed to say it out loud." He stepped closer, carefully, like approaching a wild animal. "I'm sorry, Tom. For all of it, for the lies, the money, the years of betrayal. for hurting you in ways I don't think I'll ever fully understand. You didn't deserve any of it. He wiped his face with the back of his hand, embarrassed by the tears. I just needed you to hear me say it once, even if it doesn't change anything. I looked at him, really looked at him. For the first time, I didn't see the man who slept with my fiancée, or the man who hid an entire marriage, or the manipulator who stole $50,000 and a decade of my trust. I saw what was left of him, a ruin wearing a jacket. Thank you, I said finally. He blinked, confused. For what? For saying it. He waited, hope flickering like a match. I let the wind carry my next words. But it doesn't change anything. The match went out. He nodded, slowly, painfully. I figured, he whispered. I just needed to try. He turned to leave. Derek, I said. He stopped. We're done, but I hope you fix your life. For you, not for me. He closed his eyes, a single tear slipping down his cheek. I'm trying, he said. Then he walked away, hands in pockets, head down, until he disappeared into the evening crowd. I stood on the pier alone, the wind colder now, sharper. But inside, for the first time, something unclenched. Closure wasn't loud, it wasn't dramatic, it wasn't even satisfying. It was quiet. Heavy. Final. I walked home with the kind of peace that doesn't celebrate, the kind that settles. The apartment was warm when I walked in. Lamps on, soft music playing, the smell of garlic and tomatoes drifting from the kitchen. Rachel was standing at the stove, stirring something, humming under her breath. She turned when she heard the door. You went, she said quietly. I nodded, hanging my coat. How'd it go? I thought about it. About Derek's face. The apology? The weight of words 5 years too late. It was. Honest, I said. Her expression softened. Are you okay? Yeah, the surprising part was that I meant it. We ate dinner at the kitchen island. Pasta, homemade bread, nothing fancy. And for a while, we didn't talk about Derek or the pier or the past. It was just dinner. Warm, normal, steady. Afterward, Rachel set her fork down and looked at me with that careful attention she always had, the kind that made me feel both seen and safe. Did hearing him out help? She asked. I hesitated, then nodded. Yeah, it did. She smiled a little. I could tell. You look lighter. I laughed. You keep saying that. Because it's true. We moved to the couch. She curled into my side, her head on my shoulder. The apartment was quiet, except for the soft hum of the refrigerator and the low music drifting from the speaker. It's strange, I said after a while, letting something this big end quietly. Most endings are quiet, she said. It's the beginning that's loud. I thought about that. About the night the truth exploded at my wedding. About the years of silence that followed. About Derek standing on the pier trying to salvage the last piece of himself. About me realizing I didn't need to carry any of it anymore. Maybe she was right. Do you think I should have forgiven him? I asked, not sure why. Rachel shook her head gently. Forgiveness isn't something anyone can tell you to do. It's not a moral obligation. It's a choice. And not forgiving someone doesn't mean you're resentful. Sometimes it just means you're done. I exhaled, slow, steady. Done. That was the right word. Rachel shifted, lifting her chin to look at me. But I'm proud of you, she said, for listening, for letting him say what he needed to say. That's closure, Tom. That's strength. I kissed her forehead. I love you. I love you too. Later that night, when she had fallen asleep beside me, I lay awake for a while, staring at the ceiling, not thinking about Sarah, not thinking about Derek, not thinking about the wedding or the chaos or the years of fallout, just thinking about the quiet, the calm, the life I had built after the destruction, one piece at a time, one truth at a time. And for the first time, the past felt like a story someone else had lived. A chapter closed, a door sealed, not forgotten, but no longer bleeding. I turned toward Rachel, brushed her hair from her forehead, and let myself drift into sleep with a final, quiet thought. I made it out, and I'm never going back. The fallout didn't stop at embarrassment or angry phone calls. It spread, quietly at first, then like wildfire. 3 days after the charity fiasco, Claudia's inner circle began to distance themselves. Not openly, of course. They simply stopped inviting her to brunches, stopped tagging her in photos, stopped sending her those little voice notes dripping with fake affection. She noticed. Her messages to them started getting shorter, then sharper. Marcus pretended not to see how the tension was tightening around her, but the cracks showed every time he poured another drink. One evening, as I was finishing dinner with my daughter, my phone buzzed. A video from an unknown number. I pressed play. It was Marcus, slumped on a bar stool, ranting to whoever was recording him. They act like we owe her anything, like she's still part of this family. Victoria should have just stayed quiet and grateful. Now everything's falling apart, and it's her fault, her and that kid. My stomach dropped. He said my name. He said my daughter. The video cut off abruptly, but it didn't matter. The damage was done. My hands trembled as I set the phone down. For months, they'd tried to paint me as dramatic, ungrateful, overreacting. But now the truth was spilling, straight from his mouth, and the people who'd once treated my parents like royalty, they were starting to whisper. For the first time, the tides were turning. The next morning, I woke up to 50, yes, 50 notifications, group chats, unknown numbers. Even Claudia's socialite friends who once greeted me with air kisses were now forwarding messages like their lives depended on it. All of them had the same clip. Marcus. Drunk. Slurring. Blaming me and my daughter. Calling his own parents idiots for choosing the wrong child. Someone had leaked it publicly, and people were eating it up. Comment sections were brutal. Toward them, not me. For the first time in years, the narrative wasn't twisted in their favor. By noon, their perfect image was crumbling. That's when the call came. My father. I almost didn't answer, but curiosity won. His voice was shaky, something I'd never heard from him. Victoria, things have gotten out of hand. Claudia is upset. Marcus didn't mean what he said. I stayed silent. He cleared his throat like he was preparing a speech. We just want to keep the family together. Maybe it's time you came over. We can talk, privately. There it was. The classic tactic. Not an apology, not accountability, a plea to clean up their mess before the world saw too much. I finally spoke. Dad, you made your choice. You transferred everything. You sided with them. You told me I was no longer part of this family. Silence. Then he whispered, You're still my daughter. I swallowed the laugh that almost escaped. He wanted me back now, because they were drowning. I'll think about it, I said, though we both knew I wouldn't. When the call ended, my daughter peeked from her room. Mom, was that Grandpa? I nodded. She hesitated. Are we going back? I pulled her close. No, sweetheart, this time they come to us. For once, the power wasn't in their hands, and they knew it. Weeks passed, and the fallout didn't slow. Claudia's charity events were quietly canceled, invitations rescinded, sponsors pulled out, citing unforeseen circumstances. Her carefully curated image of wealth, control, and influence was collapsing in real time. Marcus? Even worse. His business partners started avoiding him. Investors asked questions he couldn't answer. Clients quietly terminated contracts. The man who once held himself like royalty now scrolled his phone, seeing the evidence of his own humiliation everywhere. Meanwhile, I focused on rebuilding my life with my daughter. We had space to breathe, to laugh, to enjoy the ordinary things that had been stolen by their drama. Weekend breakfasts, bike rides, art projects. The small, consistent moments became our new foundation. Then came the day my mother called again. Victoria, you should see this, she said, her voice tight. Marcus just posted an apology, sort of. I raised an eyebrow. Apology? Yes, she continued. But it's vague. He doesn't admit anything. He blames everyone. The video went viral. Social media is, well, you'll see. But the comments, they're not on his side. I laughed quietly. Relief washed over me. Not satisfaction, not joy, just relief. For years, they'd controlled the narrative. For years, we'd been painted as the problem. Now the world was finally seeing the truth. I hung up and walked to the window. Outside, the city pulsed with its usual rhythm. Cars honking, people rushing, life moving forward, and so were we. For the first time, I didn't feel haunted by the past. I didn't feel the weight of lies. I felt free. Months later, life had taken on a rhythm I hadn't felt in over a decade. Claudia had vanished from the social scene. Invitations stopped arriving. Her name barely whispered at charity circles. Social media accounts deleted, messages ignored. The reputation she'd spent years building had crumbled. And there was no one left to prop it up. Marcus? He had lost more than pride. His career collapsed under scrutiny. Clients and investors cut ties. Even his closest allies had abandoned him. The man who once strutted through life like a king was now just another cautionary tale. Meanwhile, my daughter and I flourished. Quiet mornings with coffee, bike rides through the park, late-night talks about school and dreams. Ordinary, unremarkable, and exactly what we needed. My parents gradually tried to reconcile, but I remained careful. Trust had to be earned. My mother called, sometimes just to check in. My father apologized for siding with the wrong people. I listened, politely, but I never let my guard down completely. And then came Rachel. 2 years after Derek's peer confrontation, we had our own small wedding. 50 people. Close friends. Family who mattered. No pretense, no social climbing, no hidden agendas. Just honesty, laughter, and love that felt real. During the reception, Rachel raised her glass. To honesty, she said. To love that's true. To a life without lies. I raised mine in return. To honesty, I echoed. No secrets, no betrayals, no shadows lingering from the past. For the first time in years, I felt safe, free, whole. We didn't need revenge anymore. The truth had done its work. And finally, after everything, I could look at my daughter, look at Rachel, and know that we had built something unshakable. A life of our own. A life no one could ruin.